What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, of course, I'm talking about, as you see in the title, how the coronavirus or COVID-19 has changed the fire department, EMS, and the military, which are all three careers that I work into. And a lot of things have changed. A lot of things are still the same. Some things have changed for the better, and some things have changed for the worst. So, for one, this is going to be kind of a boring video. A lot of people have asked me this question, and I figure if I can just answer it and then just send people here, then they can answer the question instead of me having to explain it and people get the misunderstanding. So I'm gonna break this video down into three categories. I'm gonna break it down to fire, EMS, and then military, and then I'll discuss like what has changed. It's gonna be maybe not a very long video, but a semi-long kind of video, I guess you'd say. It could be kind of long. It just depends on how long I decide to talk on a subject. So if you're really interested in what's gonna what the coronavirus has done to this for all of these careers that I have, then stick around. But if you really don't care, then here's your chance. So let's get started. So the coronavirus has affected a lot of people, and sorry, I have my MacBook over here. I'm gonna be looking on because I wrote down a lot of notes and I don't want to forget them. So but the coronavirus has affected a lot of people. It has affected like every different type of job. Everybody in the world is affected. There's no one that it has not affected, in my opinion. So when it comes to fire, which is where I'm gonna start because that's my full-time job. I work full-time with the fire department, part-time with the EMS here in the same county or city that I live in, and then for the military, which is the same area, state. So fire, when it comes to responding to calls, that's the first thing that changed. We developed a strategy, so it's like if it's a possible coronavirus case, so they've had a fever and they've had difficulty breathing lately and they're coughing and all this stuff, anything related to a fever, coughing, and difficulty breathing, any one of those. It could just be a fever and chest pain. It's gonna be considered a high priority call. So this is full everything. Usually if it's just like a chest pain call, we're wearing an N95 mask, our gloves, and depending on what else we need, however else we feel comfortable, that's normally just it. And some goggles, some glasses, and stuff like that, just to protect your eyes and stuff like that. So there's another one we do. So we do the high priority calls, and then if it is the high priority is a non-confirmed coronavirus, but possibly a coronavirus. So it's just a high priority, just watch out, kind of caution. Could be, could not be, never know. So you're just gonna take your precautions. A code 19, not a COVID-19, but a code 19 from dispatch is a confirmed tested positive coronavirus case. And, excuse me. So, like I said, you have the high priority and you have code 19. These are the only two codes, just so people don't get confused. If it's possible, if we get there on a high priority and it's confirmed, most of the time we are going to get all downed up into our gown, and we wear 2 gloves, a gown. We've also just moved from the gowns to ponchos, like rain ponchos, just because they protect our face and everything, and it's a lot safer. There's not a lot of things you could miss. You just put it on and it's done. So we kind of moved to those. Gloves, face, N95 mask, and I put a surgical mask over that just for extra protection. Glasses and a face shield. And then usually the EMS is kind of the exact same, but they wear a Bavon or whatever you call it. I forget what they call it. The surgical caps. So it's like a hairnet kind of thing, but surgically, I guess. I don't know. And that's pretty much it. And then boots for EMS, they wear the boot covers. We don't have boot covers at fire. So that's pretty much it for the code 19 and the high priority, and that's how we pretty much respond to calls. When we get to the patient, we try to make contact. I mean, we do have a duty to act, so if they're dying or in the process of dying, we're gonna go do our job, whether we have to dress full PPE, we're going to. But if we can make contact, we usually try to get dispatch to tell them to come to the front porch if they can, or get a family member to come to the front door. And we're gonna have a big distance between us, not necessarily 6 feet, but maybe more sometimes, just for extra protection, because we're not gonna put ourselves in danger that we don't need to be in. We are a BLS department, so we do not have IVs. We don't do all the medications. We don't do anything. The only thing we're going to do when we get to a call is we're going to get blood pressure, pulse, oxygen saturation, and all these other vital signs. That's all we're going to do. So we're not going to do something that EMS is going to do the exact same when they get here. Unless they are dying and then they need oxygen or they need CPR, that's the only time that we're going to do more than what we have to. Most of the time, these people are just wanting to go to the hospital, and which I have no clue. I can't get that around my head is why people want to go to the hospital, because they think they have it, where there's a place where there's people that have it. If you don't, like, it's, I don't know, some people have their ways, and I guess that's, I can understand that a little bit, but if you don't have it, why are you going to risk all this to go see if you have it? You're not going to get tested right now. Maybe now it's a lot easier to get tested, but then it wasn't. And you have all these people, and then you have people that do have it and they want to get transported. They won't get in their own car and go because they want to infect everybody else in the process. Because you're going to see fire, you're going to see EMS, you're going to see nursing staff, you're going to see other people. Those nursing staff are going to see other people. It's ridiculous. So that's why we're having to limit our patient contact and all that kind of stuff, just because it helps everybody else in the long run. We are at a station 24 hours. We see 3 other shifts. We see 2 other shifts. The shift in the morning when we get there, we relieve them, and the shift that relieves us the next day, 24 hours later. So that's pretty much when it comes to responding to calls and what we wear to calls. I covered that. And when it comes to cleaning up after the call, we normally spray down first, or we'll spray down, then we'll wipe down with Clorox or your sanitary wipes and all that, and spray it down with some Clorox and not Clorox, I don't know why I keep saying Clorox, with the Lysol, and wipe it down again. And then now we just got foggers, which is, some departments are blessed and they have the actual fogging machines where you spray down the ambulances and stuff. We don't have ambulances, but they spray down their ambulances, and that's mostly the reason why they have it, is because they have patients in there. We have our, for you guys familiar with the SCBAs, and for those that aren't, our SCBAs are the ones that we wear on our back. We have just connected a paintbrush, or a paint gun, an air gun, like a spray gun, and that you buy at Harbor Freight. We connected that to a little rolled up hose, and connect it to our SBA, and then we have it's gravity fed. So put the solution in there, and we spray down our gear, the truck, and everything else. So that's pretty much cleanup. Take showers, shower. We don't take the uniforms that we wear home. Most of the times I will change into a brand new uniform if I need to, and then go home before I bring the uniform that I just wore on shift home to my family and stuff like that. So that's normally how that is. If I have to, like today, I'm wearing my uniform, but this is a clean uniform that I left with, just so I can come in the next day, the next shift, in my uniform. So that's pretty much it. Paperwork is a little bit the same. It's the same way. For those that aren't in the EMS or fire, you have to do reports for every single call you run, whether it's a fire report, whether it's EMS. You have to, a patient report has to be done for every call. But for this, we started out, we were filling out paperwork for every high priority call or confirmed or code 19. We were writing down our names and sending that paper with the patient. So if the patient went to the hospital and they found out they did have it, they would know who all came in contact with this patient before things get out of hand. They can get back to us and say, hey, this patient did have the coronavirus. So paperwork like that. And then the PCRs are kind of really much the same. I mean, you do write down the fever, if it was a fever and stuff like that. If no patient contact was made, no patient contact was made. But normally we do make contact with the patient, we just don't touch the patient most of the time. So that's pretty much it. Calls have went down, I would say. Over time, they dramatically decreased. I work at headquarters, which is one of the probably the second most busiest stations in our department, and it went down. It changed drastically. A lot of calls we run now are back to like the fire. You don't get a lot of EMS. If you do, they're chest pain. I think people are realizing that you don't have to call right now. It's probably not safe to call 911 right now for toe pain. And I understand people have their pain and people have problems and they need 911, and that is understandable. So that makes perfect sense. No pay increase, no hazard pay, no nothing. No pay has increased for us. We're getting paid the same amount for the same salary. I get paid salary, or I get paid on an hourly wage, but it hasn't changed. There's no bonuses, no nothing. No deployments or anything like that between the fire department. Now, getting into EMS, a lot of this stuff is the same, except that we do make patient contact and we do take the patients to the hospital if they want to go. At the end of the day, it is the patient's decision if they want to go or not. We pretty much respond the same. Nothing has changed about that. And deployments, there was a couple deployments on the EMS side. You could go to the airport for 12 hours and it was like really good money. I actually did it, and all I did was check temperatures, and it was literally, that was it. People getting off the airport, which was very slim to none. People would get off the airport and you would check their temperature. That's it. And you would tag them. If their temperature was this, you tag them and then send them, and you don't see them again. It was really easy. What was normally an hour commute for me was a 45-minute commute because the highways were empty and I could just speed. I mean, it was super fast to get there and home, because it is an hour commute for me. But like I said, EMS is just about the same as fire. They have not changed. Cleaning is just about the same. Reports are the same. I mean, EMS reports always have been a little bit more detailed because you have to include all your important stuff, which, I mean, I'm not saying that a fire PCR is different or a fire EMS PCR is different. It's just that when you're on an ambulance with a medic, you're an ALS unit, so you have to put in all these ALS things that you find, and assessments and stuff like that. So they've always been a lot more detailed and are usually the first ones to get pulled during a court scenario. But that's pretty much it for EMS. I'm not going to stretch that because it's literally the same, and I'll just be covering the same points and boring the hell out of you guys. So when it comes to military, I have drill this weekend coming up, which is the first drill I've had since February, and it is May, I think it's May 12th. Yeah, May 12th. So I haven't had drill since February. So that pretty much cuts out the military, other than we're supposed to have annual training, which is something the National Guard does every year. We go training for 4 weeks. Sorry, I just ate, and it's really giving me gas, so, and burping. And annual training was supposed to be Australia this year, but I really don't know if who the freak is walking through my car? But I really don't know if we're gonna go, just because of this and traveling and stuff like that. It's gonna be hard to get 100 guys on a plane to go to Australia. Maybe that changes in July. I mean, July's a little ways away. It's 2 months almost. They did have a deployment in our unit. They sent a couple guys from each unit out of Alabama, which is the state that I am in the National Guard in. And they sent every unit. There was a couple guys that went, and I think they all went to Birmingham or something like that to do some kind of detail. I never really figured out what it was. I'm pretty sure it was something to do. Same thing I did at EMS. They just check fevers for places and stuff like that. And other than that, I haven't seen them, so nothing much has changed other than that deployment and drill had been canceled for a while. So other than that, guys, there's pretty much nothing that's changed. That's pretty much the rundown of how the coronavirus has affected the first responder side of things. If you've wondered this whole time what it's been like, it's been kind of tough. It's been difficult to get used to things. But it's just something we're all gonna have to deal together and come together in, and at the end of the day, we gotta watch each other's back. And that's the good thing about it, is that this does suck, but we will get through it. So just think positive about things, guys. And so that's pretty much it, though. I'm gonna end it here, I think. If you did like it and you do have questions further than what I have tried to answer from all the questions I have collected over time, leave a comment below and I'll get to you as soon as possible. I don't get a lot of comments, so I'll answer back every question you ask. So leave a like also, it helps me out. And if you're interested for more content, subscribe. I'm not uploading on a daily basis, but I figured it seemed like a lot of people were interested in the a couple of videos uploaded before, and I figured I could just continue to make these while I have nothing else to do. So Why not? So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, like, subscribe if you did. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.